All right. We live. It's April 7th. Donald Trump has threatened the entire planet with a war against Iran. I say he threatens the whole world because he went live with it, brought us all into it. He could have sent a text message. And then, wow, at the same time that's going on, Kanye West is getting banned again, canceled again. And his new album just came out called Bully. I felt like this would just be a good opportunity to just tap in with everybody. My last video I did when I started talking about Jack Harlow and Jay-Z did real well when I went live. So I was like, you know what? Let's start doing this more often. So my name is Terrence Harris, right? If this is your first time being here, you know, the intersectionality here is I'm a Gemini, right? So like whether it's Donald Trump's shenanigans or if it's Kanye West's shenanigans, I'm really into just being able to bring some context to my own personal stuff while talking about and giving commentary on like what's going on in the world and blah blah blah. So it's like, whether it comes down to rebranding, whether it comes down to, like business and stuff. I actually wrote a Substack about, why, I started my business called Newports and News. I started Newports and News probably about going on 10 years ago when I was just in the trenches in VA. And I was like, yo, I need to like go legit. You feel me? I need to go legit. So it was just super imperative that I like started doing things that really served me. So this is my first time actually going live on the computer. So bear with me. I'm going to be like working with these new features and stuff. Typically I try to do this on the phone, but like, this time I really want to like bring in the Substack. I want to like bring in some context. We can look up some of this stuff, in real time. So like part of what I saw was that, Trump put out some tweets, or it was like, no, he was on Truth Social. So I know that that was one thing. And we're going to try and pull that up just to try out some of the features. And then we're going to even look a little bit deeper into this Kanye West story because, to be honest, like he gets canceled so often now, I can't keep up. So with all that being said, right, let's start with trying this share screen feature. So what it looks like here is when you pull it up, you can do all this stuff here. I actually see like why you would need to have this stuff prepared. I see why you would want to have this stuff prepared prior, because it's like I don't want to take up too much of y'all time with just like pulling up stuff. So yeah, let's try it though, because that's the whole point of why we here. One thing about being a Gemini is like you just feel like you could just switch up everything at any moment. Like I don't know if any of y'all are into astrology. I'm pretty sure some of y'all done already left out due to the fact that we talking about astrology, right? So you just was like, I'm good. He's talking about astrology, so I'm about to get up out of here. Which I totally understand, man. Some people they ain't into that. But I know I use it as like a way to just be able to communicate things more easily. Like I know a lot of people my age rock with it. So, you know what I mean? I just use it as like a common denominator. It's like the same way you just say God when you're talking about, spirituality and stuff, even though if you're not really talking about God and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, so let's give this a try. I'm gonna pull this up, see where I had actually was working on my thumbnail. This is my Substack. So we want to go to the article in question. So this is my article that I was writing about. These are, it looks like all the posts I did. And, I've been trying to work on learning how to use Substack at the same time. So here it goes. This is like, it's called the source code. And this is why I'm building Newports and News. So we can talk right here, right? All right. From the birthplace, from survival to sovereignty, everything I built from VA to PA tapes to still growing lifestyle brand came from the birthplace. My background wasn't originally in music. It was in the streets of Newport News. At 13, environmental pressures led me to skills that were closest to home. We were underserved and lacked exposure, but the environment taught me how to mastermind a product, right? So I feel like this is a super important thing to like highlight in the conversation, just due to the fact like this is a lot of the energy that comes when you dealing with like a Kanye West, right? Where it's like, he's coming from poverty, straight Chicago. You know what I mean? We all met his mom back in the day. You feel me? God bless her soul. But it's like, same thing with Donald Trump. We dealing with that New York energy. You feel me? Like, these are people who they gonna do whatever they got to do by any means necessary. And sometimes it's like it's gonna rub you the wrong way. I am definitely guilty of rubbing people the wrong way. And so, but it comes with a passion. It comes with like a dedication, right? Shouts out to my man Smooth Waffle, because he was the one who showed me how to make music. But more important than the music, it was about the ownership for me, right? It was all about the ownership. And this was also coming from a time where I was younger and just thinking about like getting money and, like I said, going legit and stuff like that. So like it wasn't all just rooted in the money. Like, as it mentioned, like I wanted to take ownership of hip hop so that I could reclaim what was rightfully belonging to us, right? Because a lot of people steal a lot of things. That's what's going on in the Middle East right now, right? It's like you got people literally just trying to colonialize the whole vibe. You feel me? Like they just trying to take the whole vibe over and make it seem like the people there are the problem, when in reality it's like y'all just want to take their resources and refine their resources into things that y'all can sell to Americans, right? So there's like an insidiousness to the plot. It's not really like how people be trying to make it seem. And yes, there's always two sides to a story, as I just mentioned with my own. Like, it's not all about the money. So I'm pretty sure even the US government, as destructive and as deplorable as they are, I'm sure they have rationalized this and given it some kind of reason to themselves. So, like everything sounds crazy to most people when it's not being done. So I know when I say owning 30% and reclaiming hip hop, you know what I mean? It's people probably hear that and just be like, who is this guy? And what does he think? Right. So my first thing that I was really working on was like throwing shows. I had a brand called Lost. We made merchandise for it. And this was my way of helping my guy right here, Smooth Waffle, monetize his art, because he had went to school for audio engineering and stuff like that. And it was like, he wasn't getting a good job doing that, to be completely frank, because it was just like, I mean, the dozens of reasons. We're black. Audio engineering isn't like the most craziest demand in the world. And I'm sure when he went into it, his intentions weren't to like, what do they say, get a job doing the sound technician at like a Eagles game or whatever, like at some stadium or Wells Fargo. You get what I'm saying? Like, he always knew he wanted to be an artist and a beat maker and stuff like that. So it's like, it was really just my job to manage all of the stuff he was creating and find a way to monetize it. And the way that I found that was easiest was just like starting shows. So shouts out to everybody who's already pulled up too. When I post this live, feel free to like ask me any questions or like tell me to deep dive on anything that y'all think is important, because at the end of the day, man, like my goal here is to share my work with y'all. Like, that's really what it is. And then once I share my work, I can see what else I need to be doing. So eventually I got my own commercial space, right? We started in Virginia, but then we ended up in Philadelphia. And so this is my space. These are just some of the faces that used to pull up, you feel me? And the main goal, as I mentioned here, was like, by 2023, I made a strategic decision to close the physical space. That 4-year-old taught me a vital truth. I am bigger than any one building. I liquidated the physical asset to focus on the true vision of media platform. So let's talk about this liquidation thing, right? Because this is like conspiracy theory teach, right? I haven't done the due diligence on what I'm about to say, but I've studied these things for a really long time. So I'm pulling from my like knowledge base, right? The United States is going through a liquidation process, right? They liquidating the labor of the people. They liquidating these companies. They moving the money around real funny. They going to war. Like, they trying to basically max out their credit card before they file bankruptcy, right? Like, when you trying to like burn somebody on their money, you just spend all the money and then get ghost on them. It's like that's metaphorically what America's doing to the American people. They're exhausting all of our resources right in front of our face, like to the point where, we're clearly questionable about it, but we're still so super dependent on the system, especially as Black people. It's like, what do you really do except let these maniacs do what they want to do and then be a part of the destruction of it? But it's like, I went through a process where I wanted to leave ethically, right? Morally intact. So I let my business partner go. I let her pay off all her credit card debt. You know what I'm saying? I literally sat in the building the last year and ran all of the events by myself just so that we could recoup the money from the rent every month. And it was like, because I knew I had the ability to pop it like that. And this is where my affinity for Kanye sometimes comes out, because it's like, when you can sell out the stadium, it really don't matter what nobody say. You feel me? So let's go look at what did Kanye West even do? Like, what did Kanye West do to get banned from the UK, right? So Wireless Festival canceled after Ye barred from UK. So it's like he tanked the whole festival from what it appears. And I've seen, some, you see it here, ban visiting country due to anti-Semitic rants. But let's actually read something, right? Like, because these are just headlines. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, we never want to get caught up in the headline thing. So let's read some of this. We're probably not going to read all of it, right? Ye is speaking out after being banned from traveling to the United Kingdom 3 months before the rapper was set to headline the Wireless Festival in London. All right, so this is 3 months prior. So now I'm already like, this is why you got to get into the headlines. I'm thinking this is something that people are like literally going to this week or something. It's like, man, they canceled it 3 months ahead of time. Y'all go get y'all money back. Y'all gonna be all right. The Home Office, the UK government departed overseeing public safety and immigration, rejected a travel application from the controversial rapper. So it's like, okay, like they don't want him to come there. They entitled to not let him come there. I don't really see what the big deal is. As a result of Ye's denied entry, the Wireless Festival has been canceled altogether. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. I mean, when did they book him? Right? These are the questions I have. When did y'all book him? Because he's been like this for years. So you clearly didn't just come to this consensus that he was anti-Semitic. Something must have triggered this, right? As with every Wireless Festival, multiple stakeholders were consulted in the advance of booking Ye, and no concerns were highlighted at the time. Festival reps told Variety on Tuesday, April 7th, anti-Semitism in all its forms is abhorrent, and we recognize the real personal impact these issues have had, right? Ye has come under fire recent years, espousing statements widely viewed as anti-Semitic and racist. The Grammy-winning rapper also has been accused of sexual misconduct on 2 lawsuits by former employees. I actually do remember that. That kind of got swept under the rug. I definitely remember that happened. The announcement came over a decade after he performed in UK. So I mean, like, we know all of this. This is what I'm saying. I'll show change. Ye released a statement after UK ban. Ye addresses the travel ban in statement compared by representatives for Wireless Festival, according to Complex. My goal is to come to London and present a show of change, bringing unity, peace, and love through my music, the rapper said. I would be grateful for the opportunity to meet with the members of the Jewish community in the UK in person to listen. I know words aren't enough. I'll have to show my change through my action. If you're open, I am here. All right, so I think we're good on that. I think we're good on that. I think we've we've gotten the full context, right? And it's just like, this is what I was just saying as far as like when I let go of my space, because it's like it'd be moments like this where it's like, do you really want to be compliant? Like, do you really want to be compliant, or are you just trying to save face and save the bag? Because I know that people be deciding whether or not Donald Trump or Kanye are like mentally unstable, if they really mean what they're saying. But I think there's something deeper in there, right? It's like being accountable for your actions. It's what you said. And I'm the kind of person which I know runs in their veins as well, as like, whether consequence or benefits, you're going to say what you want to say regardless, right? That's how I be feeling. It's like, I do what I want to do despite how it's going to work or feel for anybody else. So let's read this next part of my Substack. Centralized my efforts, right? I'm building this space to centralize my efforts, moving away from working all over the place to focus digital hub, document the source code, providing an intimate behind the scenes look at the culture, how the culture is built, offering intelligence. I didn't keep delivering products. I didn't want to just keep delivering products. It's about telling the story and reclaiming ownership, right? So let's we don't even need to share no more. So I'm gonna end this video here because I feel like I've gained a lot of uh, like tools here, right? We learned how to use the share button. So from now on, I'm definitely gonna come more prepared with my citations. You know what I mean? But today I just wanted to talk to y'all and use this opportunity and time to like highlight some of the new events, shout out my Substack so that y'all can go read it for more context and deep dive in it because I know I kind of just ran through it just then. But also so y'all can stay tapped in and see all the other stuff I'm writing. That was like my introduction piece. It was really short. A lot of my pieces get really long, pause, because it's like I really want to get deep into the subject matter. I don't want to just glaze over things. So that's it. That's all. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and share. You feel me?